Hello, everybody, and welcome to class. And today we're going to talk about web scraping for data analysis. So, before we go into the code, we need to understand what web scraping really is. So, web scraping is a valuable skill set for data analysis that allows you to extract data from websites that don't normally provide this data as an API. So say Jumia or Amazon, you need price and reviews in order to make a decision. You could easily go to the website and get data directly from the web pages. Right? And those data, when you get them, you have to also make sure that they are in the right format. Right? So in order for you to be able to extract data, to a degree, you need to understand how HTML works. And so this is an HTML file, a basic HTML file. So it has the HTML tag. For every opening tag, there's a closing tag, so HTML tag. You have your head tag, which carries some metadata about the web page, right? So for example, let me go back to any of this page. This particular title here, it's the title that is specified inside of our head tag. But for the purpose of web scraping, we are not going to be concerned with the head tag. What we are concerned with is the body. And we are concerned with what is inside of the body right here. So this is how a page normally looks like. You get your head, get your main, your paragraph. So for you to get more information on the HTML tag, you can go to W3 School. Let's go to the site. HTML page. So you can get a quick refresher. It will take you basically a day or 4 hours to get insight on everything you need to know about HTML that you will need from web scraping, because you need just the basics. You need to understand the elements, the basic, the elements, the element and the attributes. That is all you will need in order to get started. Then you might need to know some of the tags. Open the tag list. You might need to know some of the tags and what they do. Right, these are some of the tags in HTML. So this is basically all you will need to learn when you go to this page. So for this particular example, we are going to do a real world application to understand how we would be extracting information from a web page. So we are going to use this particular website. Let me right click and open this on a new tab. So this is a wiki link. It has, as it loads up, yeah, so this is a wiki link on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Right, this is a stock option that comprises of 30 stocks. Right, so what we want to do is to get this information and store it inside of our pandas, or subsequently extract it to an Excel file. But what we simply do is just to get the information and store it inside of our pandas file. So what you notice is this web page. To look at the HTML file of this particular page, you right click on anywhere and you see inspect the website. If you are using Chrome, it will also show you this, but it might look a little bit different, but it's still going to be inspect the web page, right? So this is how the HTML for the website looks like. As you can see, you have your HTML, your header, but our focus is going to be on the body. So in your page, we are going to know the exact, since we are going to copy just this table, like you can copy anything. You can copy tables, you can copy some a particular unique values, right? HTML, they tend to have what's called class and IDs, so you can use those to specify, okay, give me these types of values, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to know the element for this table. So just click on anywhere on this table So this table is stored inside of a table tag, right? Let's close this out. Yeah, it's stored inside of a table tag. Okay, so now we know where the element is stored and we can see the HTML here. So now we go back to our script. So in order to extract or scrape a website, you need two Python libraries. You need a request library and you need a beautiful soup library. So the beautiful soup library is a Python library used for parsing or reading HTML file and XML documents. And it creates a kind of a tree, right? A tree. What do I mean by tree? Like a family tree. Like it breaks the elements in a page into a tree, a document object model. Right? So you can easily go to each of the elements and extract them from the website. Why the request is a simple and easy to use HTML library. It allows you to send HTTP requests and handle response. In a more simpler terms, it allows you to open a particular web page on Python and get the entire page data from the request that you've made. It's like answering, okay, give me this page data. It's going to go to the page, get the data, and package it in a form, and give it to you as a value. So to get started, what you need to do is to install your beautiful soup and your request. But if you're using um, Anaconda or Kundas, right, it comes pre-installed, so you don't need to do this step. But if you are using VS Code or any other um, Python editor or Python code editor, you should install these two libraries in your virtual machine. So what I did here was simply say from beautiful soup, right? This is the abbreviated name for beautiful soup when you install it into your code. Say from beautiful soup import the beautiful soup library. Then we are going to import the request and also import pandas, right? So let's start from here. We are going to run this and it's going to add our beautiful soup, our request and our pandas into this program. Now we are going to go to this link. Simply just copy the link from here and create a variable, which I've already done. Just paste it here, right? Paste it and you get your link, then you get your variable. Now we are going to run this request. Let me go back, so I want to show you something. But it has some methods, right? It has your get and your post, right? The get is simply used to get information from a page, while the post is used to pass information to a page. But for this particular exercise, we'll just be using the get, right? That's the only thing we'll be using. So we use the get, then pass in the link we want the information from. Then the next thing we'll do, we'll create another variable called soup. It's called the beautiful soup. The beautiful soup library. Now say the beautiful soup library takes in two elements. Control Tab. Let me remove this. So before this, let me show you something. Let me comment this out. So I'll show you something. Let me print out this page. So it's going to return, the page on its own is going to return a response message from the website, right? Just going to give you this. When it returns 200, means it was able to go to the website, get information, and get it back. So this is a return message, right? Then if it returns, say 400, meaning it did not see the web page. If it returns 300, it saw the web page, you were able to get it, but there was an error along the way, right? So you can also research this and learn what this error could mean. But what I want to show you is the text, right? the web page text. So it simply gets the entire information from the web page and presents it as a text, right? Gets the entire HTML file and presents it to us as a text. Okay. So let me go back to what I was doing. So now our Beautiful Soup takes in two variables. The first variable is the text, the web page, the entire HTML for the web page, by the markup. Then the second variable is uh, how do you want to actually pass this information, right? Is it going to be HTML? Is it going to be XML? And the other types of markup languages that we have. So basically, the most of them is HTML and XML. So now we are going to say page. This is our text, our website information, comma. Then say pass this as an HTML. Now we're going to run this. So what this particular soup allows us to do, it comes with a lot of variables, but we are mostly going to be focused on two methods inside of our Beautiful Soup, which are the find and the find all method. The find method gets the first item, right? The first item is sees of that particular element you specify, right? So let's go back to here. So if I use the find, I will simply get the first table that it will see inside of this entire HTML, which is going to be this. Right? Why the find though, it returns all the tables, right? Anytime it sees a table, it returns that. Anytime it sees a table, it returns that. So it's going to return this value. Then if there's another table here, like this, it's going to also return this. That's what the find all will do. So ideally, I tend to use the find all more. Then I will specify, okay, from the find all, give me just the first one, the second one, and the last one. So now I know I want the element I want is a table. I'm going to pass in table. Just go to here, look at the table, and the class is wiki table, right? Wiki table sortable. So I'm going to get the table and the class value. So let's go back to here. For some reason, when I tried this, the jQuery table sorter, it doesn't return anything, right? It doesn't return anything. I think it only works, it's JavaScript, and it only works when I'm viewing this from a web page and not from a request page, a request, right? So I say pass in the table, then I say the class, put class as SCLAS underscore is equal to then the class that you want. Then this particular, what this means, if I don't put this here and I run this, then I print this, I am going to get the result for all the tables, right? I'm going to get the result for all the tables, including the second table. If you notice this, you are going to see the 1984. Let's go back, and you are going to see also see. Let me close. I don't need to look at this anymore. You are also going to see. See. Yeah, 1980 and so forth until we get to 2003. Okay, so let's hop back in here. So we are going to get everything, but I don't want that. I want just the first one. So remember when we're talking about um, a list in Python, evidently this is just a list of the tables. Yeah, you can see the square bracket here. The first item is always 0. So we're going to say, give me just the first item. Then I'm going to run this. I'm just going to get the first one. If I scroll down, I won't be seeing any of those extra values like I saw in the first one. So now that I have my list that contains just the table I want to work with, I have the entire table value. So what next? Now I want to get, let me open this up. I think I still need to open this. So the shortcut to open is Control Shift I. Right. Let me click. You can click on Chrome. There's also a button that also does this. It's always at this edge, and you see a mouse on it. So I click any of this. So you see that I have my TH head. Then inside I have my table row, which has the header. Then inside of my table body, I have my table row for each of the rows. Each of the rows, you see that I have a table row for that. So now I want to get the table row for the header. What did I have to do? So okay, give me all the table rows, right? That's what I got first. Then it's going to give me all the table row. Then it's going to return just the first table row. So if I look at this, let's go up. I am just going to get, where's my table row? Yes, I'm just going to get this. I'm just going to get these ones. This first table row. You can see this is the first table row up to here. So this is what I'm going to get. These ones. Then once I've gotten that, so let me just print it out so you actually see it, as opposed to me just saying it. I believe seeing is believing. So print. Let me, instead of doing this, okay, I think this is okay here. So you can see this. I've gotten just those values. Then from this value, I'll say, okay, I've gotten all the values from that table row. Now give me all the age values. All the age values. That means I'm going to get the company, the exchange, the symbol, industry as their own values in a list, right? So let's go down, move this, and use this value instead. I'm going to say dot. Give me all the age inside of this title header. Then let's remove this. As you can see, I've gotten all the age, which is you're going to see this first one, th comma. I'm getting all of them, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use I am going to use a simple list comprehension. We talked about list comprehension. So what does this do for us? I'll say, okay, create a new variable. I'll say, for every single value here, that means for this company, exchange, symbols, and all of this, right? Remove any unwanted value. That means, remove all of this quotes, all of this stuff, and just give me the company value of itself, the company, the exchange, the symbols, and so on and so forth. So that's what I'm going to do. So run this, and once I've run that, I'm going to get a list of, so let's say print table values. You can see I'm getting just the values themselves, right? So now I'm going to create a new table. I'm going to use this value to insert into my pandas data frame. Let me say data frame is equal to pandas, which is pd dot data frame open bracket. The columns is now going to be equal to these particular values. So when I run this, I'm going to get a data frame with just the headers. Now, to get the data frame for all, to get the rest of the rows, what I'm going to do is very, very simple. I'm going to say, okay, from all, get all the rows, right? Like we did here. It's our table. Okay. Yeah. Get all the rows. That means we are getting the first one, we are also getting the second one, the third one, the fourth, all the way to the last one, right? So after getting all the rows, run this, you are going to see all the rows, including the first one, right? So this thing I did here, I could have just skipped this entire point and just used this instead, right? because I already got the first one. So what I'm going to do is I've already done the first one. I am just going to remove it when I'm inserting into my pandas data frame. Okay. So now I'll say, okay, create a new list. So what I'm trying to do now, I want to, for each of the rows that I've got in here, as you can see, let me pick one of them. Okay, this one for example. It has the American Express as the first item here. It has the symbol as the second item. Let's see. This AXP as the third item. Financial service, the dates, the percentage, and I don't know what this is. I think this is another value. Then I think this is the exchange, right? It has a couple of, I think it's up to this. Let me go up. Okay, the company, the exchange, the symbol, the industry, the added date, the notes, and the index weighting, right? So it has for each and every one of them. So what I'm doing now is for each of these elements I see, I am going to remove the tags and just insert the element as one value, right? I'm just going to insert it as one value. Now it's going to say, okay, so it's going to say for TR. Now we are going to do two for loop statements. So for the first for loop statement, it's going to look for all the rows. Then the second for loop statement is going to look at each of these, right? This one, this table data, each of the table data, each of the values. Then it's going to now append the claimed results into this data, this row data, right? Then when it append into the row data, it is now going to append that into the rows. That means this row data is going to have, for the first one, it's going to first insert the company name, the exchange, the symbols, the industry, the dates, the data that denote the index into the row data first for each of them. Then that entire value is now going to be added into the row as one row. So that is what is happening here. So once you've done that, you will now have each of the row as a single values. Each of this row data as a single value inside of this row. So you are going to have I think it's 30 rows. Then what am I going to do is create a pandas data frame. I'll say, okay, the rows, or you can easily just type this, I think it's data. The first item is the data, right? I can say data is equals to the row, then the column names, the columns is equals to these names we got here, these names we got here, okay? So once I execute this, and before anything, let me show you what we were able to get. Data frame. So you can see that we are getting each of the value right here. So we got all 30 values. We got all 30 values. So this is a very simple way to get values. It doesn't take much time, but you have to know what you are doing before you go ahead. But what I was trying to achieve on this, I want to get the maximum, like I want to know the stock that affects the movement of this particular index the most. Right? So it's going to be the max stock. Or I can say, okay, I want to know the top 5 stock that affects this particular index the most. That is my end goal, which I have not completed that. So what I have to do first and foremost, I have to convert this percentage sign into a numeric sign so that I can actually do calculations on it. That's what I did here. This is what I did here. So you can see this is an object, and this is a float. So I can also go data frame dot sort values by that's index weights. So this is it. Okay. Let's do it in I think it's ascending equals to false. Okay. So the United Health Group is the highest, followed by Microsoft, Goldman Sachs, and Home Depot, and then the last one is I think the first five. I can also say give me from 0 to, let me see if this would work, 0 to 5. Let's try this. Okay, did this give, okay, 0 to 6. Okay, 1 to 3. Okay, so I can also, okay, now I know the top best stock that affects the prices of um, this particular index, right? So this is the key information for me if I'm going to trade this particular stock. Right now I'll be able to do this and I'll get the information I need like that very fast and very instantly. So web scraping allows you to make some decision. Uh, it allows you to get information from a website very easily. And in the next video on web scraping, which is going to be on Sunday, we are going to use web scraping to get information from Jumia. We're going to get the reviews for a particular product, but we are trying to compare and buy a particular, let's say, phone. We're trying to get a phone, but we want to get the phone based on the review, the review count and number of positive or negative reviews. So we'll make our decision based on data from Jumia. Then the phone we pick to buy will be from our decision based on the reviews and the ratings count. So see you next week Sunday for the next class. Then if you have any questions, you can drop your questions and I will answer. So any questions? Since there's no questions, we'll call the meeting we'll call this the end of the meeting. I'll see you in next week's meeting, and I'm going to attach this file to the video description so you can get the file, and also it's going to also be on our Telegram community.